just got finished teaching lessons at Music and Arts, driving home, and I just also finished listening to an interview between Billy Corgan and Gavin Rossdale, two musicians I admire, whose music I like, and it just got me thinking. They were kind of talking about the state of their music, of their peer group, their contemporaries right now, and speaking positively of each other and of the scene. And Rossdale said, he thinks that when we're all strong, we win. It's why would I want to be so competitive? Why would I want less good records? I want more good records. And I was thinking about several years ago, I was at a college band director conference, and there was a session with some composers. I can't remember if all of whom, or at least one of whom, I think most, had a commissioning consortium, had a big commission, and I wanted to ask a question that was on my mind, because I'm aware of the way commissioning consortia works. I've been involved in several. I know that there's some really great benefits to the composers and to the organizations, but I see a little bit of the flip side too. The music is not quite so bespoke. It is a little bit more impersonal, and obviously it allows these smaller organizations to commission larger works, commission bigger name composers. It allows these medium to bigger name composers to get larger scale works commissioned, to get more income. It seems like a total benefit, but I feel that some of the kind of lower fame to middle fame, smaller scale bespoke works, I'm not seeing as many of them. They're not being emphasized. They're not being commissioned. It just changes. It changes the ecosystem, for every. I don't remember if it's like a zero-sum thinking or whatever the terminology is, but it's not exactly like, for every big commissioning consortium that gets created, that's, if there's 20 bands or 20 musicians in that consortia, that's 20, that's great for that one composer and for those bands, but that's 20 smaller scale composers and smaller scale works that didn't get funded. Maybe some of these bands are also commissioning and funding that, but I don't think so. I think a lot of them are content to sort of say, well, we commissioned this and we commissioned that, we paid our whatever fraction of this is. We didn't have to, get a big grant to do whatever. We didn't have to fundraise for this aspect. I know there's lots of other things that bands fundraise for, or orchestras or whatever ensemble. But I was just seeing the other side of the coin, and I asked the question. I think I phrased it in a simple and concise way. And, it was just kind of the comment was just kind of brushed aside. Not in I wish I could say the composer that I asked, because she's kind of a big deal. I think it was just like, no, I gotta eat. I like making money. This is great. What are you talking about? Thank you, goodbye. Like, it wasn't rude, but it was just not entertaining that the old model is any better. We've progressed, I'm doing great. Everything's happy. I'm writing to quote David Eggers, my heartbreaking work of staggering genius. And, that's fine. But I was sort of unsatisfied with the response, and I was searching for, am I just not progressing with the times? Am I just being a contrarian? But I think it was a lack of that, or feeling that with some of these commissioning consortia and the trends of commissioning the same composers over and over for these large scale works for these same groups. And it's not always the same composers, I know, but there's a lot of a cyclical nature and trendy nature to it. I think I just was feeling like, why wouldn't I want more great records? Like, why wouldn't I want this one composer to be commissioned by 20 groups to write their heartbreaking work of staggering genius? I think it's because I would rather have 20 bespoke smaller scale works and 1 or 2 or 5 that really amaze and resonate with me. I don't really want that one person's one heartbreaking work of staggering genius. Not that I don't want it, but I'm getting a little tired of that. I don't want The Wall every year by the same composer. I want I want Captain Beefheart's record. I want this kind of smaller scale stuff and I want more of that over and over again for a lifetime. And maybe those things are happening too. I just was noting the trend at the time, and I couldn't put my finger on why I was butting heads against it, but I think Gavin Rossdale stated it succinctly in a way that I'm obviously not able to be brief about anything, but I'm also driving and speaking extemporaneously. So anyway, I wish I could find that composer and send them an email and say, this is what I meant, but there's no that's not worth pursuing at this moment.